Welcome to the second game of the Taylor Classic here on Worthing Thunder's YouTube channel. Game 2 of the Taylor Classic. This game between the Worthing Thunder and the Barking Abbey London Lions 2. John Hobbs alongside Mark Halewood. Our first game today saw the Thames Valley Cavaliers defeat the Reading Rockets 90-78. So Thames Valley will be meeting the winner of today's game tomorrow afternoon, and Reading will face the loser of today's game tomorrow afternoon as well. So John Hobbs alongside Mark Halewood. And Mark, both teams have remained for this game. They want to watch this as well. And it's an intriguing battle, isn't it, between this Thunder squad and this Barking Abbey team? Yeah, and it's going to be the classic experience and veteran squad of Worthing versus the youth and organisation of Barking Abbey, the London Lions. For me, it's interesting. There's less contact time. Speaking to Coach Stanley beforehand, not as much contact time. Speaking to assistant coach Ricky Broadmoor beforehand, loads of contact time. So we'll just see what happens. I think it's going to be a really interesting clash. Absolutely, and as we alluded to earlier, Worthing Thunder played in an inter-squad scrimmage, a fun family day last week called Thunder Madness. Team Zaire against Team Ishmael. Team Zaire came out on top for that one. Barking Abbey have actually played one pre-season game prior to this. They played in a closed-door scrimmage against England's under-18 team. So both teams have been out on the floor, have gotten a feel for the court, a feel for the new season and everything else in between. Starting fives for the Worthing Thunder: Hafiz Abdul, Zaire Taylor, Dan Beard, Jared Dixon and Tom Ward. For the Barking Abbey London Lions: Eddie Colley, Jace Harrison, Brendan Choya, Zamuku Welsh and Chem Una will start for Barking Abbey. So some familiar faces in that Barking Abbey team as well, and as we alluded to in the Thames Valley Reading game, a centre of excellence for basketball. Barking Abbey, a lot of junior players, especially in the Elite Academy Basketball League. Yeah, and just a constant hotbed of talent that just keeps producing year on year. They're really pleased with their first years this year, so we'll see how they get on. I mean, Kemoon has been there for a few years now, and has progressively moved into the starting lineup. And Jace Harrison is an interesting one. I saw him up close in Reading. He got into foul trouble, but he's going to be a handful. He's a lefty. He's a bit tricky, so he'll be good. And Worthing, as I said to you pre-game, is the known quantities. We know a lot of the guys, but really, really interesting to see how this one plays out. Absolutely. Jace Harrison in his second season with the team. You actually see him on the screen there. Averaged 12 points, 2 steals last season, a near 40% three-point shooter. So, a big scoring threat there. The Barking Abbey number 6 and. Jared Dixon in his first season with the Worthing Thunder, number 30. A lot of focus will be on him. Had around 36 points in that inter-squad scrimmage last week, the Thunder Madness. This will be his first time playing against other opposition, and there'll be a lot of focus on how he performs today. Yeah, really interested to see where he sets off and what type of player he is. And again, some of the usual suspects: Tom Ward, Zaire Taylor, and Hafiz Abdul from was Hemel last year, right? A very, very good pickup as well for Worthing. Absolutely, Hafiz Abdul in his first season with the club amongst the starting 5 today, formerly of the Hemel Storm. And here is Taylor. Worthing win the tip. Thunder in their new black kit today. And Barking Abbey in red. Beard at the free throw line finds Abdul. Abdul puts up a 3. And the rebound by Choya. Barking just slowing the play down a little bit. Here is Welch, a short 2, banks it home. Zamuku Welch gets us underway.
Barking Abbey really looking for Jace early. He was chased around by Tom Ward. That's why the offense stalled.
Taylor, here is Dixon. Dixon finds a bit of room inside, was looking for Beard, finds him and scores. Dan Beard, originally from Eastbourne in East Sussex in his first season with the team. And
gonna go to the line, I think. It's number 9 to the line, make the noise.
So already Barking Abbey at the foul line, getting to the basket, attacking the play. Sorry, we're just having a few microphone issues here. Pre-season, of course. But Barking Abbey, Coach Veer just saying this week that they've had almost like a behind closed doors scrimmage, a lot going on. They've season ended. They've had elite academy basketball pre-seasons as well. So they've had a busy summer.
Yeah, and you remember for them as well, they're impacted by the schedule of the schools and when they could get back in as a group and then as an academy. So yeah, I imagine it's all been a bit up and down, but yeah, since early September I guess they will have had a good kind of week and a half with the guys now.
Here is Chem Una. Una looking for Welch for 3. Welch puts in a 3. Zamuku Welch from downtown, he has 5 quick points. Dixon. Dixon getting to the hoop and he will go to the foul line. And the foul is called on Brandon Shoyer. That's his first foul of the day. Barking Abbey with a quick 6-2 lead early doors here at the Worthing Leisure Centre. And a turnover. Barking Abbey come up with it. And Tom Ward, good defense there from Tom Ward. Possession arrow stays with Barking Abbey. Of course, the winners of this game will face the Thames Valley Cavaliers tomorrow afternoon with a 5:30 tip-off scheduled here on the Worthing Thunder YouTube channel. And Jace Harrison, with already a lot of defensive pressure put on him so far. And another 3 is good. And this is for Brandon Shoyer. And already Barking Abbey have raced out to a 9-2 lead in the early going. Ward, pull-up jumper. That's no good. Big rebound from Afis Abdul, and he puts it in. Afis Abdul, such a major contributor off the bench for Hemel last season. And at the other end was Zamuku Welch. Barking Abbey getting up and down the floor really quickly here.
Yeah, and we said it, didn't we? They'll be organised, they'll be in good shape. So it doesn't surprise me that they're out and running early. And while Worthing Thunder struggle to find their rhythm, just as Zaya gets one to roll in, Barking Abbey could build on their lead.
Here is Harrison putting the moves on Ward. Good defense there, or Jared Dixon, excuse me. Good defense from Ward and from Dixon, but Harrison puts it in and a foul. Jace Harrison with his first score of the day.
Yeah, very effective. Like, you know, if you were going to look for kind of a textbook definition of a slasher, that is Jace Harrison. He's, you know, very good from the wings, good off the dribble, but can also knock down an outside jump shot, as you say. So, yeah, one to watch in this game for sure.
And just to get the pre-season rust out the way, the referee's calling a foul on number 10, even though there is no number 10 on the floor. Jack Sunderland most definitely on the bench at the moment.
If I was Jared Dixon, I'd be hiding right now. Stand behind
Well, then
someone.
again, I accidentally called him Tom Ward. So, again, it's the pre-season rust. Here is Tom Ward on the ball, though, with Eddie Colley on him. Oh, don't you just love pre-season?
We're here for all the mistakes, mate. We're here for all the mistakes.
And Hafiz Abdul will go to the foul line. And as mentioned earlier, Hafiz Abdul is such a major contributor off the bench for Hemel. Actually started in one game. It was an NBL live game last season against the Reading Rockets, where he posted fantastic numbers, 20 points, 13 rebounds. That was when Greg Polion was injured. So a guy who can step up as he misses the first free throw, but a guy who can step up and put numbers up when needed.
Definitely, he's a guy who has a good nose for the ball anyway, and not to discredit him, he's also got a decent skill set about him. So it doesn't surprise me that he's starting here for Worthing, and I'm sure he'll put up good numbers today. Big
rebound from Dan Beard off the miss from Abdul. Abdul gets it back. There's a scramble under the basket. Abdul puts in the short hook.
And Mike said he has a nose for the ball, John. There you go.
Tenacious competitor, Hafiz Abdul. Here is Colley. Colley lost it, but Chem Una gets it back. Una finds Colley. Colley driving to the hoop. Choya going all the way, banks it home. Beautiful move there from Brandon Choya.
Very impressive BA so far. Beating Worthing off the dribble almost at ease at the minute.
And having no problems getting to the basket as well, 16-8. Hafiz Abdul, no good. Beard gets the offensive rebound. Abdul puts up another three and knocks it down. Hafiz Abdul from downtown.
I mean, it's just so good to see, isn't it? He's got an offensive rebound and put it back in, and next play is knocking down a three.
Colley driving at Beard. Finds just Tom Ward. Tom Ward now breaking down the other end. And Ward will slow it down. Taylor for three. Taylor puts it in. A classic three-pointer for Zaire Taylor, fitting of the tournament name. Colley finds Una inside, faked Taylor but missed the layup, gets it in at the second attempt.
Yeah, very good. Colley's been good early on, breaking Worthing down off the dribble, and Chem Una just rolling off the screen, finds himself wide open, misses the gimme and puts in at the second chance.
Got Zaire Taylor in the air as he went for that first attempt, made no mistake with the slightly tougher follow. Abdul for the bank, but it's not open. Here comes Jace Harrison. Harrison looking for options, goes inside, puts it in, and a foul. And Barking Abbey have raced into a 6-point lead.
I think what you're seeing very early on as we see Jace Harrison doing what he does is individual defence from Barking Abbey and a bit of a team concept much better at the minute. You see there that Zaire goes in the post up, Jace just stunts at it, slows him up. When it gets kicked out to Hafiz Abdul, it turns over, and then down the other end, they're just great off the dribble. So Worthing really struggling to contain them when Barking Abbey put it on the floor.
Jace Harrison now back to the line for Barking Abbey London Lions, and he puts in the resulting free throw. And the Lions now lead by 7 with 4:22 remaining in the first. Dixon kicks it out to Jack Sunderland. Sunderland with the corner jumper, no good. Ball goes out of bounds, and it will be a Barking Abbey possession.
See the same again there, though, John. Struggling to break Barking Abbey down off the dribble, kick to the perimeter, and I think Barking will probably accept that early on and let Worthing shoot at the minute.
Jack Sunderland, a good half-court shoot, a good mid-range shoot, excuse me. No good on that possession. And driving to the hoop was Bradley Kabuza, and I think he's got the and one there as well.
This would be a very generous continuation here, John.
I thought, yeah, I was just looking at that. It is.
He's saying one to come. So
yeah, one to come, yeah.
But again, same story, broken down off the dribble.
Absolutely, yeah. Foul again, this time on Jack Sunderland. That's foul number 1 on him. Already 14 fouls for the Thunder. As Kabuza gets the resulting free throw, and the Barking Abbey now have a 10-point lead with 3:50 remaining. Taylor with the step-back jumper is good. Kabuza. And an offensive foul. Good defense there from the Thunder. Great court awareness. And Thunder get possession back.
I'm always interested to see how both the offensive team and referees manage a player who is, I think Ricky, he's at least 7'3" now. He's very, very big. You know, is he going to get called for more fouls? Is he going to get away with fouls? I don't know, but I'm always interested. We've got a proper big in the game.
Taylor. Of course, Taylor starting his final season as he banks home a 2. His final season before retirement, and we'll touch on his professional career in just a bit. As Kabuza gets the friendly roll for 2. And as you say, Hayden Ling into the game. And
I'm in mid-season form, mate. I'm in mid-season form right now. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm in mid-season form.
Hayden Ling, who is the only surviving player to feature in Barking Abbey's Adidas Next Generation tournament hosted by the EuroLeague a couple seasons ago last season, in Kaunas. Ward, a long 2 for Ward, and Kabuza out-jumps Hayden Ling for the rebound. And another 3 is good for Welch. That's 2 threes for Zamuku Welch.
Last couple of possessions, Worthing going pick and roll with Barking Abbey's big to get him away from the rim, and he's not willing to show on the screen, so Zaya Taylor's going downhill at him, and there you go, opens up the middle. He's not there to block shots, but Worthing Thunder haven't managed to capitalise on it just yet.
Taylor for 3!
Is he getting hot? Is he getting
That's
hot, John?
two threes for Zaire Taylor. And it's 29-21 in favour of Barking Abbey. And a steal there as Taylor looking for the overhead pass, but instead will hold it. Taylor wants a foul on Welch, but nothing doing. Dixon being well contained so far by this Barking Abbey team. Here is Sunderland, 6 to shoot. Taylor puts up a long 2, that's long. Dixon with the rebound. And it's tipped in. I think that was from Tom Ward. Barking Abbey the other way, and an offensive foul has been called. Kabuza drove to the hoop. Barking Abbey wanted a continuation, but the referee called an offensive foul. And here's the replay of that. Tough one to call. Jack Sunderland, I don't think got his feet set correctly. You have a bit of a grimace on your face there.
I'd say it's iffy.
But an offensive foul was called nonetheless. Taylor will come out of the game, and Ishmael Fontaine comes into the game for the first time.
Defensive end for Barking Abbey's interest. Like I said, their individual defence has been very, very good. Their problem is at the minute, I guess, because of size, with the exception of their 7-footer, they're giving up offensive rebounds and it's keeping Worthing in it. So I think if they get to a point where they can keep Worthing Thunder off the glass, then maybe they extend this a bit, but it's the physicality of Worthing that's kind of just about keeping them in it over the individual defensive barking.
It might be pre-season, but the referee's telling Ishmael Fontaine to take out the ear,
no days
earrings.
off. No days off.
No days off for our referees. Right on the ball, and Ishmael is ready to go.
He had him taped up. I don't know what he did wrong, but he had him taped up.
I thought that was pretty good, but it's pre-season. Here is Beard, all the way. Good move from Dan Beard, but his layup was strong. And here is Kachili. Harrison for three, gets nothing. Jared Dixon going all the way, kicks it out to Ward in the corner. Ward no good. And here comes Peter Asante. Asante driving to the hoop. Looking, I think that was for Kashili, but the ball goes out of bounds. Worthing will retain possession with 48.1 to go in the first.
Still waiting for a Tom Ward jumper to go yet, so I can use the death taxes in the Tom Ward jumper line.
But you've just made it. You've just used it. It doesn't work now. As no continuation of players the Thunder players wanted on Jared Dixon's foul there, but Thunder will get possession. Of course, Tom Ward, who had a season-high 35 points in their playoff quarter-final win against Thames Valley in what many people called a huge upset win. And Worthing, of course, went on to the semi-finals where they lost out to the Hemel Storm last season. But Tom was such a huge part of that quarter-final win against the Cavaliers.
He's just a guy that I think, or I pretty much know, that any team in the league would take him. You know, can handle the ball well, decent size. I mean, shoots it at such a good rate as well. I mean, and he's got one of the prettiest jump shots in the league, if not the prettiest. So yeah, Tom just one of these guys that makes NBL 1 as good as it is.
A co-director of BTM Basketball, that offers international basketball tours to help players improve their development by playing overseas. Tom Ward giving back to the sport that he loves so dearly. Here is Choya. Lost the ball. Jared Dixon will get it, and Jared Dixon will lay it in. Great team basketball there at both ends from the Worthing Thunder. Dixon
starts it off with a rip and just runs the floor and gets an easy two.
Final seconds of this first period. Step back three is good. That was Brendley Caboza, and that ends the first quarter. A high-scoring first quarter here at the Worthing Leisure Centre. Worthing Thunder 26, Barking Abbey 31. And there was lots of errors in the first game. There's still a few niggles and adjustments to be made by both teams here in this second game, but a very fun first quarter to watch.
Yeah, and like I said, I think we're expecting to see some individual breakdowns and expecting to see some team breakdowns on both ends of the floor. But yeah, I think Barking Abbey are very good value for a 6-point lead, and I think, I'm sort of going, maybe this is a bit off the mark, but I think Worthing Thunder are fortunate for it to only be 6. They started quite poorly, and Barking really punished them. Luckily, Zaya Taylor got going. I think he's probably made 4 or 5 shots in that quarter and kept pacing them. So, yeah, Barking Abbey, definitely good value for a 6-point lead.
Or good value for a 5-point lead. Sorry. Pre-season. How many times can we use the pre-season excuse,
We've used it a lot. I'm going to blame my eyes.
We shall see. However, as you can see highlights from the first quarter, it's, as said, been a fun first quarter to watch. Both teams really getting out in the floor in transition. No fear going to the basket. Lots of physicality early on. Hafiz Abdul with a few good offensive possessions. Zaire Taylor, definitely the key figure in his own tournament for the Thunder. As you see, a big three, trademark three for Zaire Taylor as he begins his final season as a professional. And Mark, a guy that's been, as you see, the Reading Rockets have stayed behind to watch this game. But as you can guess with Zaire Taylor, a guy who has been playing all around this country, has done it all in this country, basketball-wise, has really been such a highlight of the community here in Worthing with what he does for the schools, for the local clubs and everything else. wanting to give back, and in his final season, what do you expect out of Zaire Taylor?
I mean, if he goes out with anything less than a bang, I'd be very, very surprised. I think he's going to have a good year. I think, just speaking to Coach Stanley before the game, you know, COVID and hitting the business and a few other bits and pieces going on in his life, you know, it's been a tough couple of months for everybody, or 18 months or so, and I think he's relieved of that pressure now, and he's going to come back and have a really great final season playing-wise.
Kevin Moyo, who's starting his second spell with the club, into the game for the first time for the Thunder. Here's Ward. Ward finds Abdul. Abdul was fouled by Hayden Ling.
Made the adjustment on that play, see, John. So Hayden Ling now shows on the pick and roll that time and ends up getting pulled out. Hafiz puts it on the floor and he's out of position and fouls him.
And Hayden Ling will take a seat. Chemuna will come back into the game for Barking Abbey. If you've just joined us on Worthing Thunder's YouTube channel, welcome everyone. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the Worthing Thunder YouTube channel, and also follow them on Twitter at Worthing Thunder, and of course their infamous Facebook page as well. Just search up Worthing Thunder. They also have a junior page as well. Ward probably over-dribbled slightly, but gets out of jail with a foul called.
Why is the Facebook page infamous?
Has a lot of followers.
Does it? Fair enough.
I was just trying to be nice. I was trying to big it up a bit.
I wonder if they were delivering some content I didn't know about, and I was quite excited for a second.
Get online and follow them then.
You're right.
Mark Halewood, a Reading Rockets boy at heart, but we do have him on the Worthing Thunder YouTube channel today. He just wanted to be part of this spectacular pre-season tournament as Tom Ward puts in a turnaround jumper.
I'm not going to do the line.
As travel has been called on Brandon Choya. Here is Kevin Moyo. Kevin Moyo driving to the hoop. Layup is no good. Choya gets the rebound, and now Barking Abbey can push the ball in transition. Asante. Nice passing around from Barking Abbey. Three is no good. And they'll get it on the follow. I believe that was Peter Asante with the layup.
Picking up where they left off in transition. And they're off and running again.
Here is Bradley Caboza. Caboza, nice pass inside, blocked. I think that was Tom Ward with the block. And here is Kevin Moyo for the Thunder. Lightning quick at the other end, lays it just strong. And
Moyo is very quick, isn't he?
Very quick. Second spell with the Thunder. Won the national trophy back in 2019 with the club when they beat the Loughborough Riders. On the follow off the miss, Brandon Choya. Sunderland gets the ball off the glass, no good. Good pass, good vision there from Hafiz Abdul.
Coach Veer frustrated about transition defence. I mean, like I said, I think those are the ones that we're going to see in pre-season. I keep saying it. I've got to stop mentioning pre-season, but yeah, I think those are the ones you're going to see.
It's our get out of jail. It's our get out of jail free card.
Yeah, we need to use it more on ourselves. But overall, I think Barking's still playing better in transition. Have got pushed it out to 7 now. So yeah, doing what we thought they would do.
Barking have had the lead for the majority of this game as Jack Sunderland goes to the line. Jack Sunderland reliably informing me pre-game that he is now the longest tenured Worthing Thunder player, if you don't count consecutive games. Sunderland has been with the team since the final BBL season back in 2010 and has remained with the team. There was a little gap where he went to play semi-professional cricket in Australia back in 2015, but he returned last season to the club. Jack Sunderland, a product of the Amering Cobras just down the road.
I'm not quite sure why we haven't explored the semi-professional cricket in Australia story before. I think that's one for...
I haven't had a chance to.
Yeah, I think NBL Live in the future, that's one we've got to go to. It's not one you hear every day, is it?
It's not one you hear every day. Jack Sunderland, I don't think he actually played in the one NBL Live game we did last season here in Worthing when the Thunder played the Thames Valley Cavaliers in what was an absolute classic down at Durrington High School, which was head coach Julian Stanley's high school where he attended. I assume he did very well. He did end up going to university briefly and is studying his masters at the University of Worcester. Here is Taylor. Taylor off the glass, too strong. Gets the ball back. Still has it over 3 Barking Abbey players and scores.
And as I said, that's where Barking Abbey are going to struggle, the physicality.
Kaboza answers for 3, or Brandon Choi, excuse me, from downtown. And Barking Abbey still holding on to that lead, 38-32. Moyo picks up his dribble and a foul has been called. I think that's on Stephen Asante. As Michael Amico comes into the game for the first time for Barking Abbey. Brandon Choya will take a seat. 6:48 remaining in the second period here in the inaugural Taylor Classic. Fontaine will inbound, and a poor pass, and it comes up with Chemuna, who has the ball. Transition basketball here from Barking Abbey. Chemuna on the follow, and he'll go to the foul line. Great play there from Barking Abbey, reading where the pass was going and then really breaking out in transition.
Very impressed so far with Barking Abbey's defence. They're very much locked in, and even, that's going 1-3-5. I mean, Chemuna is playing the 5 for them, and he's getting in a passing lane, getting a steal. Nice bounce pass out on the break. It's really good, solid basketball.
Chemuna to the line for the extra free throws. A guy who averaged 8 points, 4 rebounds last season, predominantly coming off the bench for Barking Abbey. Shot a solid 47% from the field, so very reliable forward, Chemuna. 6:34 remaining in the half. Zaire Taylor with the ball. Has it back. Taylor. What a pass inside! And Abdul with the finish. A bit of flashy passing from Zaire Taylor. Step back 2, no good from Kaboza. Here is Fontaine. It's 1-on-1. Fontaine will go to the foul line for 2.
Yeah, nice to see Ishmael Fontaine out on the floor again, another Worthing veteran, and all-round kind of can do a bit of everything, can't he? He can shoot the ball a bit, plays good defence, and now he's out on the break and he's having a good time at the free throw line as well.
Absolutely, yeah. A guy who likes to have a lot of fun, and also a man who is very engaged with the community, very engaged with the Worthing Thunder fans as well, constantly on social media, conversing with the fans, and it's fantastic to see. He's in his 4th season with the club, and a few fans even stating on the Worthing Thunder social media pages when he signed that they just couldn't imagine a Worthing Thunder team without Ishmael, which is such a lovely thing to hear.
Yeah.
And that just typifies the type of person that Ishmael is.
Yeah, and he came over and he said hi to us pre-game, and it was
absolutely
always a good time. They were probably live on air at the time, but
I don't think he would have cared.
He does not. He does not care.
Timeout has been called by head coach James Veer of Barking Abbey. Thunder have narrowed the gap a little bit. It's 39-36 in favour of Barking Abbey. Barking Abbey getting a little cold from the field here in this second quarter. Worthing Thunder getting back into it. It's been an interesting game thus far. What are your thoughts?
Well, you can see that Worthing have defended the dribble better. They haven't got inside as well, and it's meant that Barking haven't been able to shoot at such a high rate. On the other end, they've slipped. What is it? Two kind of wide open fast breaks the last time down. Now Ishmael's got to Ishmael Fontaine gets to the foul line as well. So yeah, I think Worthing turned the defence on a bit, and Barking got a bit cold. And on the other end, transition's been bad for Barking, and Worthing get themselves to the line.
And we said it in the Thames Valley Reading game, how it's great to have fans back. There's a few more fans that have filled the bleachers here at the Worthing Leisure Centre today for this game, and of course there'll hopefully be more tomorrow as well. It's just lovely to have fans back. I was honoured to be calling the WNBL Division 1 playoff final in Nottingham last season, the final game between Ipswich and City of London Academy. The first game I called last season that had fans, and the noise was absolutely incredible. And we've got a lot more of that to look forward to, with us doing NBL Live this season, and of course you with doing Reading Rockets games in the future. Yeah,
and I think everyone's getting back to their normal venues. Like I think this year Reading are looking back at being at Rivermead, and obviously we'll be back in places like Worthing Leisure Centre and getting the crowds filling up, and yeah, hopefully back to normal.
Here is Sunderland. Back to Fontaine. Fontaine driving to the hoop, and again Ishmael Fontaine showing no fear, driving to the hoop at Michael Amico, and he'll go back to the foul line.
And the bits that kept Barking Abbey in early, the individual defence you can see there, Ishmael pretty much straight line drive to the middle. Doesn't have to make a move, doesn't really have to turn or change. He just goes right hand, head down, and Barking have to foul him.
Ishmael Fontaine, who averaged 5 points, 3 rebounds last season, but did so many things that you don't see on the stat sheet, and such a vocal leader for this team. Has had spells in Germany and in the British Basketball League as well, has Ishmael Fontaine. And it is a 1-point ball game here at the Leisure Centre, 39-38. So Thunder getting back into it here on the Worthing Thunder YouTube channel. And three's no good there, and Thunder come back with it. Here is Taylor. Amico with the missed three. Taylor looking to put the moves on Una. Finds Abdul. Abdul inside. Nice pass to Moyo. Thunder passing the ball around the perimeter. Fontaine short with his three. Abdul on the follow.
Yeah, completely turning around again. Like I said, the physicality, Barking haven't handled it at all well so far.
And Thunder with the lead, 40-39. Asante finds Colley. Colley flanked by Taylor and Fontaine, two of the Thunder veterans, and the ball goes the way of the Thunder.
You can see like there's a decent lineup for Worthing in terms of individual defence. Fontaine back in, Moyo back in. They've got guys who just defend the dribble better, and because of it, it's got them back in the game.
As you see, though, Barking Abbey now turning their defensive intensity up a little bit of pressure full court as Moyo takes it over the timeline. Here is Sunderland. Sunderland finds Taylor. Nice pass inside. Moyo. And Fontaine. Moyo couldn't quite get hold of it. And the ball goes to Jace Harrison, who drives down to the hoop. And all the way, beautiful play, Michael Amico. Great body control to see where he was going and puts it in.
Just Barking Abbey in transition, just very, very good. It's just I like seeing when they get in that rhythm.
Taylor's snap three is short. Harrison one-on-one with Moyo, and Jace Harrison, good defense from Moyo. Moyo going all the way, too strong, a bit out of control with his layup there, and here is Eddie Colley.
A few things being let go at either end, it's speeding the game up.
Taylor just snatches it off Colley. Here is Moyo. Step back three, nothing doing. He passes it instead to Hafiz Abdul. Kevin Moyo even surprising me there. I thought he was going to go for the three. And I think Hafiz Abdul was a bit surprised that he wasn't going to go for the 3.
Julian Stanley's probably pleased he didn't go for the 3.
Surprised absolutely everyone as Zamuku Welch at the other end puts in a 3.
3s for Barking Abbey, keeping it. 3s from Barking Abbey, should I say, keeping them in it at the minute.
44-42 in favour of Barking Abbey. A scramble under the announced to the scorers table as Tom Ward and Jared Dixon will come back for the Thunder.
Interesting to see Jared Dixon in his second spell now. Not quite sure we got a good glimpse of what he's all about in the first quarter and in his first spell. See if we see a bit more from him now.
Fans got a good glimpse of Jared Dixon last week in the inter-squad scrimmage entitled Thunder Madness. Had over 30 points in that game as Team Zaire defeated Team Ishmael. Colley. Jace Harrison short with his 3, and Tom Ward has it.
Good find, Harrison just couldn't knock it down.
Abdul strong to the hoop, couldn't quite get it on the second attempt, and Barking Abbey will retain possession. Jack Sunderland a little frustrated that he didn't get the ball there off Abdul as he was wide open. Welch. Pull up 2 points and no good, and here come the Thunder again. Sunderland, it's 1-on-1. Sunderland, beautiful composure, gets the layup to go.
Great finish from Sunderland on the break. Gets Ismail Fontaine's seal of approval.
Absolutely, yeah, Colley. Almost another turnover there, and in fact it is a turnover, it's Thunder possession. James Veer really not happy with how his Barking Abbey team are getting themselves in offensive play there.
Well, they've struggled with the team, with that team element. I mean, they've done well off, like I said, they've done well off the dribble, but now that Worthing Thunder are cutting off a couple of options, I don't know what Barking Abbey are going to next. Are they going to do dribble handoffs or pass or backdoor? They need another option to get them into team offense.
Ward puts up a 3. Ward in and out. Abdul again with the offensive rebound and puts it in on the follow.
Hafiz Abdul's just been an absolute monster on the offensive glass in the first 2 quarters.
Playing under league MVP Craig Polion last season was Hafiz Abdul. Now coming into his own in Thunder's colours as Jared Dixon gets the steal and the score at the other end. Thunder have raced out to a 48-44 lead, 1:33 remaining, and Coach James Veer calls time.
As I remain in mid-season form, John, what you will have seen again there is Zaire Taylor pressures the point guard, so he can't release quickly. They want to go to the wing. Jared Dixon is denying the wing, so there's no next entry for Barking Abbey at the minute. They don't know what the next option is. So all Worthing are doing is blow up the first option, and then there's nothing else. They turn it over, go on the other end, and Jared Dixon gets an easy layup.
Jared Dixon has a very quick guard, has no issues getting to the hoop, no issues breaking out in transition all on his own. He's done that twice already.
Yeah, and it all comes from defense. Like I said, and you called it out yourself, is that there's the team ball's just not really going for Barking Abbey at the minute. Early on, individual ball kept them in it. They beat them off the dribble easily, and then that got them out to the early lead. Worthing have stopped that. On the other end, Barking Abbey can't keep Worthing off the glass. Hafiz Abdul's had probably 3, 4, maybe 5 offensive rebounds, and he's probably put in 2 or 3 of them. So, it's swung, and it makes sense. Worthing just stamping down their authority now.
Absolutely, and of course Worthing missing their 2 Americans for this weekend. George Ebanks, who is not playing due to family commitments, and Howard Crawford, who is not here either, but he should be back in the country for when Worthing play their first game of the season, which is an El Lynch Trophy pool game against the Solent Kestrels here next Saturday. For your tickets for that game, go to the Worthing Thunder Facebook page for all the information, and their first league game of the season will be on Saturday, October the 2nd, when they welcome the Essex Rebels to the Worthing Leisure Centre.
Will you be here, John?
I don't know yet.
You're supposed to say yes, absolutely. I've set you up there.
I certainly hope, though, that the supporters will be out in force for those 2 games and upwards and onwards. Harrison putting the moves on Abdul. Harrison still has the ball up and under. No good. Block there on the follow from Choya, and Taylor has it again.
Nice defensive play from Taylor.
Final minute of the half. Abdul. A lot of the offense has gone through him in this first and second quarter. Nice move from Ward. And Harrison comes up with it for Barking Abbey. Here is Welch. Caboza. Caboza puts up a 3. 3-point percentages are dropping here for Barking Abbey as the second quarter has progressed.
Yeah, very interested to see if Barking will start to do something else. I mean, 35 seconds ago, James Veer's probably thinking get him into the half-time break and come out with something different in the second half.
Sunderland with the rebound off the miss from Choya, as Jace Harrison comes up with it. Very fast-paced action here. An offensive foul has been called on Brandon Choya.
I mean, how good has Hafiz Abdul been first half?
Absolutely.
He's done everything on the offensive end. Now he's taking charges on the other end. What a great pickup for Worthing.
Absolutely. 23 seconds remaining in this second quarter. And Stephen Asante will come into the game. In fact, timeout will be called. Stephen Asante will have to wait his turn for the final 23 seconds. Thunder still holding a 48-44 lead, and it's almost been a game. It's been a game of 2 quarters so far, hasn't it? Barking Abbey starting out strong, shooting the lights out, great possessions on offense, good defense as a team, and in the second quarter, Worthing regrouping, breaking out in transition, defensively really strong, and limiting the perimeter.
Yeah, I mean, you've summed it up perfectly, John. I mean, that's really been the tail of it, and I think why it's, Worthing have just managed to edge their way ahead because, Barking have gone so cold because of it, and Worthing have just stayed pretty consistent. I'm interested what will happen now. Coach Stanley, helped by some of the guys, 23 seconds. I wonder if he'll be thinking, kill the clock and get the last possession of the first half. I wonder if Coach Veer will think about something different. Will he come out with some pressure? Will he try and change something? Will he come out in a bit of zone just to kind of try and throw Worthing off? Interesting. I like these bits out of timeouts to see what happens in the last 23.
Absolutely. It's interesting to see that Worthing haven't rotated their roster as much as you'd think during pre-season as well. That's obviously an homage to how strong Julian Stanley wants his starting 5 to be and how sharp he wants them to be ahead of that L. Lynch Trophy opener against Solent, of course, who dominated last season.
Yeah, he's gone 8 or 9 deep so far, but there's still probably a couple of guys who haven't seen minutes. Again, hard to tell pre-season whether it's little injuries they don't want to put in. But, he certainly played, and I don't want to say him in mid-season form, but they've come out in zone.
Barking Abbey in zone, which they have played for the majority of last season. They do favour playing in the zone. Taylor, Dixon.
They've actually gone back to a matchup now as they've stayed zone for the first couple of passes and then go back to a matchup.
That was literally all, wasn't it? Shot clock has been turned off. Taylor almost got the and one to fall, 2.9 seconds remaining. James Veer wondering where the foul was.
Yeah, it looked a little bit light, but I mean, good to see from James Veer. I mean, see what he's done. He's not only done the bit of zone to try and throw the rhythm off a little bit, so Julian Stanley can't draw something up and come straight out thinking it's man. But then they've probably put their rule in that says after the third pass or after the second pass, we go match up with whoever's closest to us. So then it throws in another dimension where then if you're thinking now we're playing zone, 10 seconds later you're now playing against man and it just kills the clock.
Zaire Taylor makes the first 3-throw. Guy who has enjoyed success in the British Basketball League and, of course, in the National Basketball League, 2-time MVP of this division. As the wild 3-point attempt from Denilson Chashili is no good. And that ends the first half here at the Worthing Leisure Centre in our second game of the inaugural Taylor Classic. The hosts, Worthing Thunder, lead 50-44. Of course, the winners of this game will go on to meet the Thames Valley Cavaliers in tomorrow's final. The losers will face the Reading Rockets. Your thoughts on this first half so far?
Been a really interesting dynamic first half, hasn't it? Like I said, I think, like a few minutes ago, you summed it up just perfectly. The Barking Abbey early on, individual defence was good, and then offensively off the dribble was very, very good. Just as we kind of catch a bit of the defence there from Barking Abbey, as you will see the highlights package. But what's happened is Worthing have kind of their veteran and more skill, more like veteran lineup has just kind of stamped their authority a bit, been big on the glass. Hafiz Abdul's been very, very strong, and Barking Abbey have zero answers for him at the minute. And I think while that happens, unless Barking Abbey can find some of those answers, they may well struggle in this second half.
As you see the highlights, and Hafiz Abdul has been such a strong presence for the Worthing Thunder in this half. We're going to get the scorers in just a second. As said in the first game, no live stats in this tournament, so we're relying solely on the paper sheets, which we'll be getting in a second. But Hafiz Abdul has been such a strong presence for the Thunder in this first half.
Yeah, and I think what makes him such a valuable pickup, and again, I think he's played the majority of the minutes in this first half, if not all of them. I don't remember him coming out very much, but he's playing both ends of the floor, and is such an interesting matchup problem for some other teams, because he's playing as a big on one end, and on the other end he's switching on to guards. He's guarding the interior well, so yeah, just an excellent pickup for Worthing.
Hafiz Abdul with 15 points, 8 rebounds for Worthing, but leading the way for the Thunder, Zaire Taylor with 16 points. Thunder shooting 47% from the field. Barking Abbey actually shooting over 50%, 53% from the field. And Zamuku Welch leads them with 13 points. But a good half for both teams. It's been very fast-paced. The shooting has been relatively solid, and both teams not rushing their offenses, getting good offenses going, and it's reflected in their shooting percentages.
Yeah, I think the stronger percentage of Barking Abbey is very carried from the first quarter, where they were probably in the 70s, I'd have thought. Just having a really quick look at the stats you gave me, John, I mean, you look, so far Worthing have 10 offensive rebounds in the first two quarters. So
that's something.
Yeah, so it's very, very strong. And Barking Abbey have turned the ball over 12 times. So, if you wanted to know how Worthing have got back into it, there you go. It's 10 offensive rebounds and 12 first half turnovers for Barking Abbey. I mean, being on course for 24, 25 turnovers a game is, you'll never win one like that. So
absolutely, yeah.
Adjustments needed, but as I've said before about coaches in this division, we're blessed with some of the best coaches, in the whole of British basketball. In this division, and James Beer is one of them, so I'm sure he will come out with something. But can they get ahead of the Worthing Thunder physicality? I don't know. Remains to be seen.
So that ends the first half here at the Worthing Leisure Centre in our second game of the inaugural Taylor Classic. Worthing Thunder lead 50-44 over the Barking Abbey London Lions 2. Join us in roughly around 7 minutes' time for the third and fourth quarter here on the Worthing Thunder YouTube channel.
Trap bounce, trap bounce, yeah. Cause every day above ground is a blessing. I done leveled up now, view panoramic. None of my fears can't go where I'm headed. Had to cut them loose, now I'm loose, break the levee, yeah. I'm about to blood on the center. The rain and thunder gon' fall, gon' move, tumbo. No, sinner. Girls is dancing on the bezel. This kind of feeling unforgettable. Promise this my move forever. Promise this my move forever. Forever and ever.
Welcome back to the Worthing Leisure Centre, where we're around about a minute until the third quarter begins. Worthing Thunder lead Barking Abbey London Lions 50-44 in what has been a fast-paced second game in the inaugural Taylor Classic. John Hobbs alongside Mark Halewood, and lots to look forward to tomorrow as well, where the winners of this game will face the Thames Valley Cavaliers and the losers will go on to play the Reading Rockets in tomorrow's games. Lots to look forward to, as said. Project Female will be making their Taylor Classic debut, you could say, an exciting young dance troupe out of Worthing. So, a good Sunday ahead for the four teams involved.
Just a great Sunday, John, let's be honest.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's hoops. You and I are on commentary. So does that make it great? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, the game earlier today was very, very good, kind of bit back and forth, and Thames Valley opened up towards the end. Poised very similarly in this game here. Barking Abbey saw the better share of the early exchanges, and then later in the second quarter, Worthing kind of clawed their way back in, and behind kind of 10 offensive rebounds and turning the ball over a little less than Barking Abbey, they now lead. Absolutely,
and Worthing Thunder's team physio, Paul Baskin, has been absolutely ripped to shreds so far this afternoon. A hardcore Tottenham Hotspur fan, and their team lost 3-0 to Crystal Palace earlier on, and a lot of the Thunder players and even the game day announcer Dave Marshall has been absolutely slating Paul over that. So it's great to have the banter back in basketball, no doubt about it. And obviously you got a lot of that with Reading.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, this is the great thing about basketball, isn't it? It brings people together. We've got a good crowd in here today for a pre-season game, and I imagine it will pick up tomorrow for the final, especially if Worthing Thunder find themselves in it. But yeah, we're really pleased, thankful to be back in the building. You and I back together, camera team back together. So yeah, it's all set for another good 20 minutes of hoops.
Well, no one would be wanted to be alongside me, so I called all these people up, and you were just the last.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say the last. You were more like the seventh person. No,
I'll take it. I've got nothing better to do. So
anyway, start of the third quarter here. Taylor, offensive foul straight away, as Taylor showing a bit too much of the body to Jace Harrison, and that's a second foul on Taylor.
Interesting start from Zaire, but I mean, I think he will be ready to get himself going. Led all scorers in the first half.
Absolutely,
so yeah, I can imagine his own tournament. He's probably going to dial his own number a bit coming up.
Jace Harrison showing a move that was so characteristic of Taylor throughout the years, of showing his body and making sure there was an offensive foul called, as Chem Una with the short hook shot.
And maybe James Veer's made adjustments. First time we've seen Barking Abbey go straight to a post entry and an easy two.
Beard inside, Dan Beard with the two. Good pass, good find there from Tom Ward. Here is Colley. To Choya, back to Colley. Good defense there from Thunder, reading the backdoor cut. Choya inside, doesn't get it. Abdul rebounds. And here is Jared Dixon, who has been, by his standards, early doors, a little quiet in this game, but no doubt he'll pick it up as the tournament and the season progresses. Brandon Choya with the offensive rebound. Chem Una. Nice pass inside to Colley off the glass. And the ball goes out of bounds. It will stay with Barking Abbey.
Great help from Troyer on the other side. He's in help. He reads the lob over to Dan Beard and goes coast to coast, but Barking Abbey can't convert it into two.
Inside. Good play there from Zamuku Welch, who's had such a strong first half, and continuing where he left off, 15 points for the number 13.
He shot the ball well from the perimeter early on as well, so he's clearly doing a bit of both.
Beard inside was bumped, so the foul is called. That is on Una.
There's those on there, John. I always wonder what the opinion is. Like, Chem Una's in decent position. I mean, is he supposed to just get out the way? Or is he supposed to bit of contact? I mean, it's not one that I know, but yeah, a bit of a tough call there on Chem Una.
He looked fairly static when when the foul was called, but You're more of a qualified official than I am these days.
I mean, I think the officials in this league probably hate me, in my opinion.
They probably don't like me either, but either way, Tom Ward misses the 2. Brandon Choi, good hands there from Taylor, and he comes up with it. Beard now in transition, loses the ball to Una. And Taylor comes back with it. Taylor now all the way, and he'll lay it up and in. Back in the day, he would have been able to dunk that, but I think maybe age and legs have caught up with him. Either way.
Got a bit nervous for a second, like he might try.
He was thinking about it, wasn't he? Foul has been called, offensive foul. So
Hafiz Abdul again takes another one, just as you also see Zamuku Welsh knock that down in the corner.
As you see, Taylor, you
the
could see he was
layup.
Absolutely, you could see he was thinking of the layup, but decided not to go for it, just go for the other bucket.
Yeah. If he still can, I'd be impressed. I'm not sure.
Regardless, he's still got it in his final season.
2 points is 2 points, as they say.
2 points, exactly. 2 points is 2 points. Thunder leads 54-48. Hafiz Abdul kicks it out to Taylor. Taylor, round the back pass to Dixon for 3. That's short. Beard gets the rebound. Short hook is good. Dan Beard, who's proving to be a real menace under the basket.
Much of the same in the first half. Another offensive rebound. Barking Abbey forces a 3. That's what you want, but they can't clear the boards. And stuck again as Dixon with the rip.
Dixon now on the floor. Ward on the floor, excuse me. And the possession arrow stays with Barking Abbey. As Bradley Caboza will come back into the game for Barking Abbey. And just while we got this break in play, Dan Beard has been such a huge presence under the basket for the Thunder. He spent last season in Italy, a native of Eastbourne, which is a few miles along the coastline in East Sussex. He's been a great pickup for the Thunder.
I think the front line for Thunder in general is going to be good with Hafiz Abdul, Dan Beard and Crawford when he comes in. Is that, there was a real gap there last year. There's no real size on this Thunder team. I mean, Josh Goddard, yes, but he played limited minutes. So now by adding Beard and Abdul, and then, like I said, with Hal Crawford coming back, they're going to have a pretty good 4 and 5 spot.
Absolutely. When Crawford comes back, that's a 17-9 average last season. So, a good player inside. As the season progressed last year, really got into his own and produced a lot of good highlights as well.
Another foul on Zaire Taylor there, called for the hold. That may be his 3rd, so maybe something to manage for Coach Stanley. 2
quick team fouls for the Thunder as Jace Harrison looking for options. Huge shot there from Caboza. Offensive rebound inside. There's a scrap under the basket. Dixon comes up with it. Now Dixon off to the races with the layup, and that's strong and a foul. Jared Dixon showing us what he's made of.
Yeah, I'd love to see more of that too. Managed to get his hands on the defensive end and just goes coast to coast and finishes a great finish. So as you see it here on the replay, just managed to come inside, finish with the right hand. But yeah, love to see more of that from Dixon.
Absolutely. Showed the left hand, went with the right, got the foul. And Jared Dixon, who in his first season, desperate to impress with the Thunder, and that's what he can do. Just once he got the ball, there was no doubt what he was going to do, and that was drive it to the hoop. And the Thunder quietly as well have gone out to an 11-point lead, 59-48 with 6:46 remaining in the third. Harrison. Good defense there from Beard. Here is Caboza. Going inside, partially blocked there from Dixon. Ball goes out of bounds. 1 on the shot clock.
Yeah, I mean,
great defense there from the Thunder.
Very good, and just collapse the middle. Barking Abbey will need something going to the rim here just to flip it up quick with 1 second.
There it is. Easy play. Poor defense from the Thunder, and Zamuku Welsh says thank you very much. Abdul will go to the foul line for 2, and what has impressed me is Thunder's ability to absolutely race down the other end.
Yeah, and it's a bit of a contribution of two, actually, because Barking Abbey's transition defence, offensively, has been very good. Their transition defence has been very bad, which is, you know, if you talk to coaches around the country, they often say that good offensive transition teams are often bad defensive transition teams. But I think what we've seen, John, like you said, with Worthing pushing this lead open again, is that it's just been a case of the direction of travel staying the same. Barking Abbey don't have answers on the offensive end, and on the defensive end, they just can't stop Worthing at the minute.
Ingus Jaskavicius is into the game for the first time for Barking Abbey, the very talented Lithuanian, wearing number 14 for Barking Abbey. Abdul makes both foul shots, and Thunder keep their 11-point lead intact. Here is Harrison. Caboza, back to Harrison. Harrison lays it up and in. I don't think Jace Harrison realised just how much space he had. And a Barking Abbey possession. Good defence, pressuring the ball handler, and Barking get a much-needed stop.
And Barking Abbey are going to need a lot more from Jace Harrison. He started off well first quarter, and we spoke about him on different drives and made a three. And since then, you and I have not mentioned him, so I think he's gone a bit quiet. They're going to need him to start getting to the rim, probably getting fouled a couple of times too, to cut into this 9-point lead.
And while it was a good pressure on the ball handler for Barking Abbey, it was a poor pass from Dan Beard, as you saw on the replay, but Sunderland gets it back for the Thunder. Here he is, Ward. Ward puts up a long two, and that's good.
Yeah, Tom Ward just doing what he does. He's very good on the baseline too. It's not a place you want to let Tom Ward catch it.
And Caboza, I think, was fouled as he was driving to the hoop. Caboza almost caught in two minds whether to pass that out or go for the shot. As you see here on the replay, driving it, Dixon spinning on Taylor. And then the foul called.
Yeah, he was just ripped, wasn't he? And he actually spanned back into trouble. Had a better move going right and spanned back into the defence.
Here is Jaskavicius. Finds Choya. Here is Harrison. 5 to shoot. Harrison, layup no good. Sunderland rebounds over nearly 3 Barking Abbey players. And the 2 longest tenured Worthing Thunder players on the court right now in Tom Ward and Jack Sunderland.
There's Abdul again on the offensive glass.
Taylor, an NBA range 3 is long, and Caboza comes up with it.
Barking Abbey still need to find answers. Again, it broke down into one-on-one, and Worthing just doing a better job of defending one-on-one at the minute. Same again, off the dribble, getting stuck. Needs a team answer here from Barking.
Here is Welch. Lost the ball. Dixon with great awareness to get the ball back for Thunder. Abdul was a bit out of control, and the referee's called the foul.
I mean, very good. I mean, Jared Dixon is on the floor so fast that it's just been fumbled, and he is on top of it. And then going down the other end, you see Abdul just going, makes Jace Harrison turn and gets to his left and called the foul. So, yeah, this one's poised a little bit here. Worthing really in control of potentially opening this up, because Barking, yeah, very, very idealist on the offensive end.
Hafiz Abdul back at the line, 4-2. And we're seeing a lot of Hafiz Abdul as Barking Abbey now on 14 fouls. Seeing a lot of Hafiz Abdul in this game, showing what he is capable of. And Fontaine will come back into the game. Tom Ward will take a seat.
Kashili in for Barking Abbey.
Yep, and Kashili back in. Out. And Choya is out for them as well. Yep, number 10 that will be on the ball now. Denilson Kashili. Here is Kashili almost running into trouble, and in fact he has. Hafiz Abdul comes up with it. 2-on-1 here. Dixon finds Sunderland. That's easy for Thunder. And a timeout has been called by Coach James Veer. And you could just see Kashili was just running into trouble, over-dribbling it really. No pressure on him until the last, and then it allowed an a turnover and Thunder to score in transition.
I mean, I mentioned it in the first half, and you can see it. You can see it there. Sorry, I just watched it back. Is that it's that first option again, right? So Kachili dribbles down, finds himself, and they go into pick and roll. Well, this time Worthing decided to trap the pick and roll, but there's no other option after that. So they're not, and it's early in the season, so I'm not expecting the kind of second and third options of offense to be very well explored yet. You'd think the entry would be the first bit they focus on, but Worthing's doing a very good job of stopping that first part, that first entry, and all it is doing at the minute is leading Barking Abbey into turnovers and Worthing just racing down the other end and scoring.
And as you see James Veer just talking to his team there, what do you think he'll be saying to his young group?
I think probably he may well be talking about what I said in terms of this first entry, and he might be thinking about doing something different, like I said, whether it's going to be a pass entry or something a bit more motion-based that gets the ball off the floor a bit, just to do something different, because I think the dribble entry at the minute, they're either going dribble, handoff or pick and roll, and it's being stopped by Worthing almost with let's call it with regularity. So I imagine he's thinking about what they do differently there, and on the defensive end, he'll be talking transition defense for sure, but again, turnovers don't help you there, and probably how they're going to keep Worthing off the glass.
Of course, the winners of this game will go on to face Thames Valley Cavaliers tomorrow afternoon at 5:30, and the losers of this game will face the Reading Rockets at the earlier time of 2:30. Both games will be live streamed on the Worthing Thunder YouTube channel. Quick three-pointer there from Welch, no good. And even though we have no live stats available, that is most certainly Abdul's double-double as he puts up a three and scores. Hafiz Abdul having a fantastic game here at the Taylor Classic.
Yeah, he's shown it all. Now with the three, there's not much he hasn't done so far.
Welch. Jaskavicius. Back to Welch. 9 on the shot clock. Great defense, especially around the perimeter from the Thunder. And Jaskavicius, a foul has been called. And it's an offensive foul bumping into his man. Ingus Jaskavicius' first foul.
And if I'm James Veer again, I'm wondering why towards the end of a shot clock it's ended up in the hands of probably my 5 on the floor now, so my big, and he's trying to create off the dribble. I'm wondering why's my offense got to that?
Absolutely, especially with players like Jace Harrison on the floor. Here is Taylor putting the moves on Jaskavicius. Nice move from Zaire Taylor, the veteran, gets the 2.
Again, you don't want to get Zaire Taylor on the low block like that.
And that's what Jace Harrison can do, and that's really the offense that Barking Abbey should be running right now. Those type of plays, especially for Jace Harrison.
Yeah, I'm surprised there's not more going through him. I mean, he's probably their elite scorer. I'd be thinking he needs a lot more touches than he's getting at the minute, and Worthing are going to try and exploit this matchup on the other end.
And Taylor, I think, was looking for the alley-oop for Hafiz Abdul, but instead his pass goes right in, so that will be credited to Taylor. Harrison again for 2. Again, that's what we like to see from Jace Harrison and from Barking Abbey. A few offences going to him.
Yeah, I mean, he's a matchup nightmare off the dribble for probably most teams in this division.
As you can see here on the replay as well.
Yes, we need to get touches, and yeah, the one before that, I mean, Zaire Taylor's managed to get an assist and 2 points in one play. He's assisted himself by throwing the lob into the rim.
Most certainly the pre-season, sorry for saying it, the pre-season play of the day. Dixon in traffic. And here is Chashili. And the floater no good there from Jaskavicius. I think that was a bit of a muddled play for Barking Abbey. And it ended with Jaskavicius. Abdul misses the 3. And here is Jaskavicius again. And the ball goes out of bounds, and it will be a Worthing ball. And Tom Ward getting ready to check in for the Thunder.
Yeah, and for some of these, for some of the Barking Abbey players, you know, it may well be first time out in men's basketball, and your baptism of fire is to come in with a team that's a perennial top 4, top 5 in the division team. So they're going to make these mistakes, you know, gaps that are, you know, maybe there at junior level that just get eaten up at senior level. Bigger bodies, more speed. So you know, some mistakes to be expected, but yeah, I think Coach Veer is going to be a little bit unhappy with the kind of discipline they've had in the second half.
Kevin Moyo into the game for the Thunder, and here is Sunderland. Good passing around here from the Thunder, but Fontaine slows it down. 7-footer Hayden Ling into the game for Barking Abbey. Abdul over Ling, no good with his 3. And Tom Ward comes up with it. Here is Abdul. Blocked by Ling, but a foul has been called before the block, and Hafiz Abdul will go back to the foul line. 74-56 to the Thunder.
Couldn't see if he called that on 10, Kashili, he called it on Ling. I'm not 100% sure.
Both players were in that vicinity, as you can see. It looked like the foul was on Kashili instead.
Yeah, I think so. Ling's block looked pretty clean.
Hafiz Abdul back to line. He's almost lived at the foul line in this third period for Thunder. Of course, as mentioned, next week Thunder officially start their regular season in the L. Lynch Trophy as they play host to the Solent Kestrels here at the Leisure Centre, and their first league game will be on the 2nd of October against the Essex Rebels, again here at the Worthing Leisure Centre.
A frustration there for me again is Chase Harrison, back-to-back offence, has got to the rim, scored, foul, and he pulls up for a 3, and you think, stick to what's working. You know, get yourself into a rhythm, keep going to the rim, make them stop you, then find the other guys, let them shoot after that. It's a bit of an interesting decision from Harrison.
And Barking Abbey, a good three-point shooting team as well. They're not afraid to let the 3 fly, as Jace Harrison will take a seat.
Yeah, they shot at a high level as well, didn't they? First quarter,
yeah.
Shot it really well. But again, for me, that's because in the first quarter, they get inside and it opens up the perimeter. They haven't had the same flow. They haven't got inside to open up the outside.
Poor inbounds pass from Barking Abbey. It ends with Peter Asante on the floor and into the advertising boards.
Maintenance required.
Absolutely, and these hard-working Thunder Volunteers, led by the man himself, Chris Richardson, getting involved as Sunderland on the ball. Here is Fontaine. Moyo for 3, and Moyo is short. Hayden Ling doesn't even need to jump to out-rebound Tom Ward. And a foul has been called. Abdul trailing on the defensive end there, bumping into Denilson Kashili.
Yeah, you'll see it's the fouls on Jack Sunderland on the hip, and the whistle's gone by the time Hafiz jumps in. But yeah, Kashili just gets by Jack Sunderland. He's on his hip and just fouls him with the arm.
Thunder, you feel comfortably up by 20 points right now. 76-56. And the 2 is good for Brendley Caboza as we nearly enter the final minute of the third period. Abdul driving at Ling and scores over the 7-footer. Beautiful move from Hafiz Abdul.
An interesting lineup for Coach Stanley's got no Taylor, no Beard, no Dixon. So, I mean, I imagine if you were, getting into league play, this is probably a second unit you've got out here. You keep a couple of the starters and bring in the bench guys, and they're doing a very nice job, with Abdul playing the way he is. He's going to get good minutes even out of this unit as well.
You feel that Tom Ward is the only starter on the floor. Tom Ward started the majority of games last season. Who knows how the rotation will go this season? We might be seeing something totally different tomorrow. Who knows?
I think with guys, for all teams we've seen today, right? With guys to come in still, and there'll still be some player movement. There always is this time of year.
Absolutely, yeah.
So we'll see what everyone ends up with as Moyo flies.
Absolutely, and Moyo going over Ling and will go to the foul line. The smallest man on the court taking on the tallest man on the court, and Moyo will go to the foul line. That's 3 fouls on Hayden Ling. And as we mentioned, Hayden Ling, the surviving Barking Abbey player from that Adidas Next Generation tournament hosted by the EuroLeague. He was part of that. Of course, former Worthing Thunder player Cameron Hildreth starred in that tournament for Barking Abbey. That was a great advert for British basketball, wasn't it? Having a team competing in the EuroLeague Next Generation tournament. In 2013, the England under-18s competed in that, led by Worthing product Luke Nelson, of course, who was a player for the Thunder Juniors.
Yeah, I mean, great that we're playing at that kind of calibre and that level. And to be playing well at that level as well is good. And it was, as you say, great advertisement for Cam Hildreth.
Absolutely, and there is Hayden Ling on the follow, nearly slamming it home, but just tapping it in.
And Ling didn't feature in their Division 1 roster last year, which is why we haven't seen him, but he's been at Barking Abbey for a while now.
Moyo almost over dribble, but instead gets the layup up, but doesn't get it to go.
And assistant coach Ricky Broadmoor was telling me he's still growing, and with him still growing, every time he has a growth spurt, they have to reteach him skills.
Absolutely.
And I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
Reteach him the kind of the hand-eye coordination stuff, because when he has this little growth spurt, all of a sudden it goes again. And yeah, very interesting. Good to see as well, because we don't produce many bigs, and he's a big.
Absolutely, 7'1", and and still growing, and a great talent for the future. As we see the replay of Moyo's layup just going around the basket and going out. Final seconds of this third quarter. Here is Taylor. Taylor off the glass, no good, and that ends the third quarter. Worthing Thunder lead 78-65 against the Barking Abbey London Lions, and you've got to say that Thunder look comfortable right now.
Yeah, I mean, they were up 20. Coach Stanley then changed the lineup a bit. Zaya Taylor came out, Dan Beard came out, and Jared Dixon came out. So Barking have kind of eaten into that second lineup just a little bit by closing the gap some. But yeah, I'm fully in control. I'd be surprised if it goes the other way this last quarter, but there's still a chance if Jace Harrison can get going again, and if they could get a few stops on the defensive end. Barking Abbey, they've got an outside chance. Absolutely.
And of course, all roads leading to next week's season opener in the L. Lynch Trophy, where Worthing play the Solent Kestrels. And Brendan Okoronkwo, a former Worthing Thunder player, now with the Kestrels, was present for the pre-season, for the inter-squad scrimmage last week. He was here briefly as well this morning. Brendan checking out his former teammates and close friends as well. What do you make of that matchup? Of course, Solent, head over heels, were the best team in the league last season, have added former Thunder player Max Richardson, amongst others, in their squad this year, as well as retaining Brendan Okoronkwo, Elliot Dadds, Travis Charles. What do you make of that matchup next week?
I mean, it's for most teams in this league now, coming up from Solent is always going to be a difficult matchup. You're not beating them unless you're at your absolute best. I think anything less will never get you close. And I've said it the last two seasons about Solent, that I wonder if they can get stronger, and they seem to pick up pieces that ends up making them that little bit stronger again. They've got some different imports, and of course, from the season before, Elliot Senton's not around, a few others that made them very strong. But as you say, Orlin Jackman's back, and they've just re-signed Luke Brazumbro, who's back, whose kind of effectiveness doesn't always show in the stats. He doesn't have great numbers, but he's good defensively, and ends up games where he ends up with 17 points, 19 points, 20 points. Like he's that kind of guy. So I'm being nice because I'm neutral. Worthing are going to need to be very good.
They're going to have to be good, but they've improved their roster as well. We can see this here today.
Without question. They are definitely stronger. And if they've got everybody in by the time that rolls around, with Ebanks here and Crawford here, they'll give it a go. That's
absolutely.
For sure.
Abdul for two is good. Hafiz Abdul now moves on to 28 points alongside 12 rebounds, so he does have his double-double. Zaire Taylor has 22 points. And Zamuku Welch has 17 points to lead Barking Abbey. Here is Abdul, now on to 30 points.
Yeah, he's going to be, I think, if Coach Bob Banks is around, and I think he's just left. Good spin. But yeah, Coach Bob Banks and Coach Dan Pearson, who are watching the game, I think they will have had an eye on on Abdul and figure out how they're going to deal with him, especially Bob Banks. It looks like at the minute he's going to have to figure out an answer for him tomorrow.
Absolutely. Blaine Freckleton has remained in this game. He's still here watching on.
I think he's here just to talk trash. He did it for the whole 40 minutes, and he's just sticking around for a bit more.
And what's hilarious, as soon as I say that, he stands up. I think he's actually heading out now. But
he knows.
He knows. But he'll be back tomorrow to face the winner of this game. And it's looking, at the moment, like it's Worthing Thunder, but a lot of basketball still to play in this fourth quarter. A young Barking Abbey team will fight on, no doubt about it. Well coached, well drilled team with some exciting young prospects here today. Here is Abdul, finds Dixon. Dixon finds an open Tom Ward. Ward driving inside, and a turnover there, and Barking Abbey should get the easy score, and they do. Peter Asante with the steal and the score. Maybe Tom Ward should have gone for the jump shot there. He was wide open.
He had two good options. He either pulls up himself, or instead of putting it on the dribble, just passes to Abdul, who's made threes. Instead, he drives, gets caught in the middle, and does neither. And Barking Abbey, take control and, smart time out here. Get yourselves realigned. Don't do that stuff. Get it back on the floor. Keep it simple, and Worthing should ride this one out.
Absolutely, and Worthing Thunder, known for one of the best game night experiences in the league. We'll get to experience that again this season. Exciting dance troupe, Project Female, will be making their Taylor Classic debut, you could say, tomorrow. They're not here today, but they'll be here and at every home game this season. And Zaire Taylor, I was talking to Zaire earlier on about game night experiences and how important it is for the fans to come back on the basis of that. It's not just about the basketball, it's about the experience. And having dancers here, having fun competitions just makes a game night experience what it is.
I say it a lot when I'm in any kind of meeting with Reading about basketball, is that you have to get it all right. And the media team seems to come up with some good kind of Taylor Trophy videos, and that's been really good. And the game night experience, because the point is, people don't care about the score. For the most part, they don't care. They want to have a good night. They want to have a good experience. It's important that from the minute they arrive to the minute they leave, it's just a wonderful experience, and Worthing are getting that right at the minute.
But there is some hardcore Worthing fans here who do care about the score as well.
Not all of them. God, don't hate me, Worthing.
I don't know what you think about Reading, but anyway, whatever. Abdul, wide open three, puts in a three. Hafiz Abdul having a fantastic game from downtown. That's his third three of the day.
And that time, Ward, no indecision. Instead of dribbling, just goes straight to Abdul, and it's a three.
And a steal here from Sunderland. Sunderland all the way, foul called.
You can see why the timeout's been good as well. The offensive end, Ward throws it away, and that's okay. Those things happen, but the reset on the defensive end has got them focused again, and they're up the other end scoring in transition like they had been for the majority of this game.
And Jack Sunderland, as you interestingly heard when I said, spent a bit of time away to go to Australia, played semi-professional cricket out there, a very keen cricketer, Jack Sunderland, through the East Preston ranks here in the Sussex leagues, and obviously plays, but he's not too bad playing basketball.
He's
either.
All right. Is he a bowler or a batter?
That will have to answer. He'll have to answer that one.
Looks like it could be a bit of a spinner.
Asante misses the layup. That might be a question to ask him if we do any post-game interviews. I don't know.
I reckon he's either early in the order at batting or spinner. That's my guess.
87-68 to Worthing Thunder over the Barking Abbey London Lions in our second game of the day in the inaugural Taylor Classic. Here is Sunderland for three, short, and the rebound taken by Michael Amico. And here come Barking Abbey in transition, easy score for Zamuku Welch.
Still quite a large lead, but you can see James Veer still trying to push his guys, still trying to get some stops. This is Dixon on the drive.
Here is Ward. Ward driving inside. Pull-up jumper is good with 6 on the shot clock.
2 dribbles going left, pull up. Yep, I put some money on that going in.
Wide open 3 for Asante is no good. That's Peter Asante, not Stephen Asante.
And Abdul with another rebound is on for a very stat-stuffing performance by the end of this.
14 rebounds for Abdul. Here is Abdul again inside, and he's going to go back to the foul line. Now, obviously, we don't have live stats available, but I believe that's his 9th and 10th trip to the foul line today.
Yeah, I mean, and the funny thing is, and I've spoken with some of the coaching staff at Reading over the years, and a guy that can get to the line with regularity is so important. You know, just for such a number of reasons. Gives you ability to control the flow of the game, because you can stop the game without timeout. You can talk. You can communicate. It puts pressure on the other guys. They have to foul you. Like, so many beneficial things happen by getting to the line that if you have a guy that can do it with regularity, it's very, very important.
And group substitution here for the Thunder as Kevin Moyo, Nicholas Ballon into the game for the first time, and Josh Goddard into the game for the first time alongside Dan Beard. Ishmael Fontaine, Jack Sunderland, Jared Dixon, and Tom Ward will take a seat. So Hafiz Abdul misses the first. I think Zaire Taylor will make up the 5 by coming in, I'm assuming, for Abdul when he makes or misses this free throw.
He wants to miss his free throw. Keep himself on the floor.
Which he doesn't. He makes it, and as expected, Taylor comes in. Abdul takes a seat. And Abdul...
That's a rookie play. That's
absolutely.
Rookie.
Abdul comes out. Thunder lead 90-70 with 7 minutes remaining. Here is Welch. Welch putting the moves on Goddard. Easily done from Welch, and he scores off the glass.
Welch has been very good today for Barking. We probably paced them better than anyone, alongside Jace Harrison, but he's shot the 3 well, gone off the dribble well. He's been very impressive.
Moyo going to the hoop, but put a bit too little English on that layup. Here comes Barking Abbey. Nice play inside from Kachili. And bodies on the floor, Kachili and Moyo. And Ishmael Fontaine still barking orders from the bench. He'd make a good player coach, wouldn't he, Ishmael Fontaine? No disrespect to Julian Stanley.
Yeah, I mean, still drill sergeant over here on the order. That's good though. I like to see it. You know, he's engaged. He wants his team to keep competing. He realises it's not about today. It's about the season and getting things right now.
No, so, definitely.
Yeah, good to see that.
Here is Taylor. Peter Asante keeping a close eye on Taylor. Here is Dan Beard. And Dan Beard was fouled by Michael Amico. That's a 3rd foul on Amico. And Thunder will get possession as you see the replay of, I think, of Dan Beard getting the layup. That was a nice layup. It didn't count. So... Can I say pre-season replays as well, or can I not?
No, don't say that. Don't upset anyone today.
Here is Beard. Beard going all the way, lost the ball, and Jace Harrison comes up with it. Harrison. 3-pointer on the way from Amico, or from Welch, excuse me, no good. Here is Moyo. Taylor thought about the 3.
I was certain it was going.
Moyo will put up a 3 in and out. And Amico comes up with it. Now he's going all the way to the hoop. Lost it. Taylor stripped it off him. And here is Moyo.
Yeah, I think this could get a wee bit scrappy in the last 5.
Here is Goddard inside. Josh Goddard with his first points of the day. Josh Goddard, whose family are all Solent Kestrel supporters as well. So it's always a fun time in the family when those two teams get together, and of course they will next week.
What is the Thunder rivalry? Is it Solent?
It will be, yeah. South Coast rivals, Solent Kestrels. Taylor short with his 3. You should have known that. You're on Worthing Thunder's YouTube.
Well, I mean, that would have been my instinctive guess, but I didn't want to get it wrong. I've already upset the Worthing fans once today by saying I don't care about the score.
Ball goes out of bounds. Yeah, Josh Goddard, a product of the Solent Kestrels juniors, and went to the University of Chichester, which is just down the road. As you see the replay of Michael Amico driving to the hoop. He's going to go to the line for two. Well, he's not actually. There's a foul was called before the shot.
Quick inbound.
And a nice inbound, smart play there from Eddie Colley, finding the open Chemuna, I believe it was, for two.
Definitely was.
Moyo. 4:32 remaining in this game. Thunder lead by 18. Taylor. Taylor with his trademark spin move gets it to go. He's become synonymous with that particular move over the years here at the Thunderdome, and it gets it to go. Ball goes out of bounds. Excuse me, it is starting to get a little bit scrappy. Ball goes out of bounds.
Yeah, just classic Zaya Taylor. Posts up from the three-point line. Nobody does that. And then does a 360 spin in the paint.
Absolutely. Chemuna going all the way. Nearly got the three-point play to go. That'll be a foul on Dan Beard. 3:58 remaining. And Chemuna, who's really shown glimpses of what he can do on the floor, really attacking the basket, smart basketball IQ for the number 12. Misses the first free throw.
And a guy who's worked his way into the minutes, right? I mean, last year played limited minutes. He's done a very good job of getting himself in Coach Veer's rotation and started today. So, yeah, well done to that young man.
Absolutely. And hopefully we'll get to see more minutes from him tomorrow afternoon as well. Ballon. Way long with his two. Goddard with the offensive rebound, and he'll go to the line for two. Josh Goddard, who was a former player coach for the Worthing Thunder, led the team to the playoff final, actually won them the national trophy in 2019, but playing limited minutes here today.
So it's Worthing playing with pretty much a backup lineup. I think Beard started, didn't he? And then Zaire started, but they've probably got an eye on tomorrow, resting up.
Absolutely, yeah.
Be them and Thames Valley.
It looks all certain to be a Worthing Thames Valley final tomorrow in this inaugural Taylor Classic. That'll be a great rematch from the playoff quarterfinals. However, still 3 minutes to play and a lot of basketball to go as there's a scramble close to the hoop. Both teams really going at it, and the referees and the players telling each other to calm down as...
This is where everyone should be reminded it's pre-season.
Yeah.
It's pre-season. Everyone calm down. It's just pre-season.
Great to see the competitive nature, though, of both teams shining through in that particular play, no matter how scrappy it was.
I think this is what's good about having these types of tournaments in the pre-season, or have trophies or showcases, or however you want to call them, is that because there's real things to win, it makes it important to win.
Absolutely. A three-pointer is good for Brandy Caboza. Caboza, I think that's his second three of the day. Without knowing the live stats, I'm not quite sure. I know he had one three-pointer going into the fourth period. Here is Asante. Santi putting the moves on Moyo, spins, finds Una. Una finds Colley. Good passing from Barking Abbey, and Santi's three no good. Here is Caboza. Caboza driving inside, gets it to go, and the foul. Bradley Caboza with a three-point play opportunity, and Barking showing slight glimpses of what they can do inside.
Yeah, great handle from... was that Caboza there, who just drives left, puts two moves on Ballon, and then he has no option but to foul him.
Caboza makes no mistake with the three-point play. I do wish they would stop showing us on the commentary.
I don't mind it.
Pre-season, I guess.
I don't mind it. It's fine.
This is what matters. On the court, Zaire Taylor on the ball. Cameraman just having a quiet word in my ear. I'm not going to say anything more.
Not sure why he's complaining.
Don't worry, Taylor.
Got a lot to do up there.
Nice pass from Beard. Nice pass from Beard, and Taylor with the finish. Here is Asante. Asante losing the ball, just showing a bit too much of the handle to Josh Goddard. I think actually it came off Goddard last, so it'll stay a Barking Abbey possession.
I'm not sure how much Goddard knew about it, but it
absolutely, yeah.
It definitely hit him last.
Caboza over Moyo, too strong. Battle under the basket between Una and Beard.
Still getting a bit chippy towards the end here, John.
Absolutely, but great to see that competitive nature. As we head towards the start of the season with the Earl Lynch Trophy coming up for both teams. Great to see that competitive fire in this pre-season tournament.
Yeah, and the thing is, pre-season games are going to be limited, so you've got to make the most of them. You've got to use them, and I think both teams here are.
Caboza for three. Colley with the rebound and tipped out by Moyo. And Barking Abbey will... That was a foul, actually, excuse me, yeah. So a foul on Moyo. With 1:45 remaining, Thunder 2 points away from the 100 mark. As Denilson Kashili will come into the game. There's the foul on Moyo, who fouled Eddie Colley. Inside and a foul. Brendan Choyer will go back to the foul line for one shot. And the Barking Abbey number 7 has certainly impressed today. He's done a lot of the things, done a lot of the dirty work you don't see on the stats, and has put up some numbers as well. He has 12 points.
Yeah, Troy has been good. Welsh has been good, and Caboza also been good, and Eddie Colley kind of steadied them from the point guard position. So yeah, the young players of Barking have done well in kind of different pockets.
Absolutely, and off the glass, Chemuna with the two-pointer. 1:35 remaining in our final game of the day. And of course, it's looking likely that it will be Barking Abbey facing the Reading Rockets tomorrow in the first game at 2:30, and at 5:30, Worthing Thunder will play the Thames Valley Cavaliers in the final of the Taylor Classic, a first ever Taylor Classic, an inaugural pre-season tournament hosted by the Worthing Thunder. Games, of course, starting early today due to a charity midnight walk hosted by charity Hospice St Barnabas House. So good luck to all the people taking part in that. That's due to start at 4:30. That's why the games have begun early today, starting at 11:30.
Interesting call on the last one there, John. Ballon with a good box out. Eddie Colley flies over his back. Ballon called for the foul. I like to see that.
A few members of the crowd even had a glazed look on their faces, a confused look on their faces as to why that foul was called. But
I joined them.
1:04 remaining.
I was certain it was going the other way.
Yeah, absolutely. 1:04 remaining, and Eddie Colley goes to the line for two. A solid game for the Barking Abbey number 9. Has made very few mistakes
he's been very
in
good.
this contest. Has moved on to 4 points, make that 5 points. And Josh Goddard just bumping into Colley. Josh Goddard being told by the officials to keep it down, just relax. And a bit of two coaches, Julian Stanley and James Veer, just getting into it a little bit as well. You'd never guess it was pre-season, would you? I know we say it a lot, but...
Yeah, in all fairness, Coach Stanley, he's telling his team to just chill, which is sensible. He needs no injuries or techs or anything like that in the last minute of a game. He's winning by, it's 12 at the minute, but, winning comfortably. So he's saying the right thing. I think the referees thought he was perhaps inciting it, but he wasn't. He was trying to calm it all down.
Moyo finds Beard. Beard gets the hook to go, and Thunder reach the 100 mark. And a kick ball. That's a kick ball if I ever saw one.
I'm a huge fan of that. I'm not going to lie. I'm a huge fan. I've been known to play defence like that occasionally because I don't actually want to reach down and touch the ball. So just if you boot it instead,
absolutely,
job done.
Nicholas Ballon, I was going to say that's worth a highlight. And there it is.
And Nicholas Ballon.
Oh, very good.
Hello.
Very good.
Hello. Just going there. Sorry.
Oh, dear.
It's probably not French, and it doesn't mean ball and everything else. Sorry.
Oh, Ballon, a native of Brighton.
Yep, very French.
Played for the Solent Kestrel's second team a few seasons ago. This will be his third season with the club.
I think what's interesting about the ceiling here too, John, is by the looks of things, I'm not sure how secure those panels are that just got smacked by the ball, as there's about 15 that are missing.
That has absolutely nothing to do with game nights here at the Worthing Leisure Centre. I put it down to the badminton they play here. But either way, that's another story. That's a story for later. And there it is. Yeah,
thanks, cameraman.
Thanks for the cameraman to actually showing that, as he rightfully goes back to the pans back to the crowd as Chemuna goes to the foul line. Doesn't get the friendly Leisure Centre roll for his first one. 30.9 seconds remaining. So tomorrow's order of action looks set to be the Barking Abbey London Lions playing the Reading Rockets in the first game, and Worthing Thunder playing the Thames Valley Cavaliers to tip off at 5:30. Both games will be streamed on the Worthing Thunder YouTube channel, so don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Of course, like, share and follow Worthing Thunder on social media. They are on Twitter at Worthing Thunder. As the alley-oop finds Beard. That's what the crowd likes to see. Final seconds. And Worthing Thunder will hold it for the final buzzer. And that ends the second game of the Taylor Classic, as Worthing Thunder defeats the Barking Abbey London Lions 102-87. A comfortable win, it must be said, for the Worthing Thunder here today.
Yeah, and the scoreline probably isn't quite reflect. It's probably more like a 20-plus point differential. Coach Stanley resting some of the starters for the majority of the fourth quarter. So yeah, overall, Worthing just ended up being too physical, too strong for Barking Abbey. They couldn't get offense going again, and when they went a bit physical on the offensive end, there was no defense that could stop them. And what's worked out quite nicely is here, John, for us tomorrow is it's the two physical teams we've seen today.
Absolutely,
in Thames Valley and in Worthing, who will match up tomorrow. Who have more senior guys than they do juniors, and the physicality will probably show through. And then, of course, we get to see Reading and Barking Abbey London Lions, where two of the better junior programs in the country. They're going to play a lot of juniors. There's senior guys missing. So yeah, we've got just a great lineup set for tomorrow now.
Absolutely, yeah. It all roads lead to quite an exciting day two at the Taylor Classic. Hafiz Abdul exploding for 34 points, 13 rebounds to lead all scorers, shooting 63% from the field. Hit three-pointers in that haul as well. Zaire Taylor with 26 points for the Thunder. And for Barking Abbey, Zamuku Welch leading them with 21 points, 9 for 12 from the field. Both teams shooting around 50% from the field. So, a good shooting percentage from both teams, but Thunder just edging it on the day.
Yeah, like I said, I think the experience really shows through, and kind of what I'd said at the beginning of the at halftime is that the turnovers were going to be a problem for Barking Abbey. I said they're on course for 25, 26. They end up at 26. So you're not winning games at 26, and you won't even be in games at 26 turnovers. But credit to them, as you say, Zamuku Welsh, very, very good, and a few of the other guys who helped out. Collie at the point guard spot, Choya, who was good too. So yeah, they've got a lot to look forward to. Their journey is very much a long one, right? They use the whole season and they want to be good post-Christmas and start competing and being in games post-Christmas, and it's about their development. For Worthing, you know, in my time covering NBL as a co-coms and a commentator in the last kind of 3.5 years, it's probably the best team they've had that I've seen in the last, you know, like rather than going back historically with Bud Johnson, a few other guys, of course, when it was, you know, where they had a very strong era. This is a good team for them. Like this, and when they get Ebanks in, they get Crawford in. Like I said, they're going to be top 4 probably somewhere in that vicinity, trying to play, and they'll be able to compete with the Hemmels, they'll compete with the Solents, they'll compete with the Reading Rockets. That, you know, they've got a good team here for sure.
Absolutely, and that ends the first day as you see the highlights, and there's the alley-oop from Taylor to Beer to just seal a comfortable win here today. That ends day 1 of the Taylor Classic here at the Worthing Leisure Centre. For John Hobbs, Mark Halewood, have a good afternoon everyone, and we'll see you tomorrow here at the Worthing Thunder YouTube channel.